guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kaylin and I am back with another video. Do I look refreshed to you? Do I look ready for March? Because today's our March Faith Reset video and I'm ready. I'm locked in. I feel like February just flew by. I didn't get to partake in February too much, so that's why you guys didn't really see me, because I was actually going through my 3-week orientation for my new position, my new job, and I literally was working every day. I have one day off during the week and I was exhausted. So doing my new job orientation and still teaching, so your girl was tired. I was in the bed every night early, and then all my days I was waking up anywhere between 4:30 and 6:30. So I'm a morning person now at this point. I was up today at 6:30 and I'm just praying that that continues on, and I love it because I feel like I'm able to get so much done, and this is what I prayed for. So you guys have seen me talking about and struggling, waking up early, trying to find time. In February, you know, I wasn't too thrilled with working as much as I was, especially waking up that early, but it got me into the habit of waking up early and just getting into the day. And I've been able to wake up and have my quiet times on the days that I am off and get a lot done in the morning. Like today I folded clothes at 7 a.m. Who am I? Like, we just thank the Lord. So today's video is my March Faith Reset. Just gonna talk about a couple of things. You guys know, like, I'm not trying to stray too far and every month have like a whole bunch of different new resources, and you know what I mean? Like, I just want to stick to a simple Bible reading plan. I want to stick to a simple quiet time routine. The only thing that really is changing is like certain resources and then my books for the month. That is like the main thing that changes. So I still have my Bible tote. That's not changing. My Bible study tote, it's not changing. I honestly didn't really take too much out of it. Everything is the main things that I use. So my Bible, the Bible handbook, this Eat into Eternity is my Bible plan. This is what I'm doing to read the Bible in a year. I have been really enjoying this. I think it is simple, it is to the point, and I've enjoyed it. Like, I've enjoyed it. I have also been using the Bible recap sometimes, but the Bible recap is a little bit more time consuming depending on which books of the Bible that you're in. So I really do like this. I like how this is laid out, and it's perfect to use in the morning or at night. So love this. I did start Leviticus in February, and I kind of just been going slow at it, trying to find time to do that. And now that we're in March, that is going to pick up, and then I'll be able to do little studies with you guys, because I know that Leviticus is one of the books that can be a little bit hard, and even just the Old Testament period, because all of the laws and stuff, when you're not in the books of the Bible that are like this really story driven narrative type books, it can be a little bit hard to understand, and Leviticus has definitely been that kind of book. It is hard a little bit, but it all has purpose and meaning. It's just you have to take the time to sit and understand, what is this trying to teach me and how can I apply it in my life today? So March we'll be going through Leviticus, and then if we finish Leviticus we'll go into the next book. So that's pretty much what I've been using. And then my Bible, like, we're keeping it simple. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about, the books that I read. So January, I don't know if I let you guys know, I think I did in the vlog, I read Atomic Habits, and I feel like that just got my year started on the right foot. It really did. And I think that's why I've been so successful in being consistent in my habits, and like reading, working out, making time for myself, making time for family, like being able to get up early. Those have all been things that I've been trying to work on, and it's just so nice to actually be in the place where like I feel the fruit of it and I feel good. Like I feel perfectly fine being up that early in the morning and getting stuff done, and it just really sets the tone, and my days and everything have just been so much better. So Rehab is the book that I started in January, the end of January, and I ended up finishing it in February. It took me a little bit just because February was crazy for me. So this is Jerry Flowers' book, Heart Rehab. I highlighted so much in this. I even kept a notebook for notes, which is what I plan on doing for all the books that I read this year. But there's so many little nuggets that you could get from this book. Some of the things it talked about was, is it possible that the version of you that you became to survive is not the version God wants you to be? So it's like, we always say like, I'm trying to be the person that God created me to be, but I don't think we truly understand like all that is necessary to unpack and deal with and heal from and navigate through in order to become that person. Like, I think sometimes you could just think that like, oh, one day you're just gonna be that person, or I'm gonna do a little bit of these habits and then I'm gonna be that person. But no, it's transformation to become that person, and it takes a lot of time effort and energy on our behalf, and then also accepting the things that we need to work on, being okay with some things that need to fall off or fall out of our lives or be removed, and things about us that we need to work on. So the main thing that a lot of this book was just showing me is looking inward and not all the time outward. We can't change anybody else, but we can only change ourselves, and with the help of the Lord and being disciplined and really trying to participate in the process of transformation. Because if you're not willing, there's no point. You have to be willing to take those steps and actions in order to get to the point where God wants you to get to. So it talked about trauma, triggers. One thing that stuck out to me was it said, in life there are moments where you feel set apart, different, or even targeted in ways that seem unexplainable. These can be indicators that God has marked you as a world changer. So it just talked about some of the things in childhood that you may have went through that marked you, like that are clear, like confirmation that, well, anyway, we are to be set apart and we all have purpose, but there's certain things that you may have experienced in childhood that can kind of point you to where God may be trying to train you, where God may be trying to teach you something, where God may be trying to show you, to lead you to your purpose. So it said, you are being prepared, molded, and transformed into the person you are called to be. There was something always about you that didn't quite fit in with the crowd. Like, there's so much. There's parts in here that talks about forgiveness. There's parts where it talks about how, like, our mind is so crowded, and that's what the next book really talked about, is we just have too much going on. Like, that is pretty much what I've come down to the conclusion, and I'm really trying to work on slowing down, because the world is just so fast paced. The world is full of distraction. The enemy does not want us to be focused on God. He does not want us to be focused on our purpose, want us focused on doing what it is that we need to do to help others and to reach others. And it's just so evident. Like, it makes so much sense when it's like, we are in this world, not of this world. And I think you have to sit and really think about, like, how the world functions. It is total opposite from what God intends for us. So that is just kind of like what I've been sitting with all February. I've just been completely enlightened in all the books that I've read. This book just you have to read. Like, I can't go over every single note in this book because it was just so much. It was just so much good stuff, and I feel like it really just helped me to just think about things in a different perspective. And it was a great lead up to the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Like I mentioned before when I talked about this book, I've seen this book so many times. I've heard wonderful things about this book, but this book really just put things into perspective. And I've been telling you guys, I've been fighting and like struggling with distraction in my time, and I've mentioned multiple times about wanting to cut out social media, or technology is this, technology is that. Like, I've just been noticing the unhealthy habits of how much time we spend on these devices, how much time we get consumed and wrapped up in things that do not matter. And then we're stressed because we're so busy, we're in a hurry, we don't have time for the things that we want to do or the things that we should be doing or prioritizing, because our lives are just filled with everything else that's not necessary. So this book really helped me to understand, like, prioritize the things that are necessary. We are to be modeling after the life of Jesus. Jesus was not ever in a hurry. And it talked about how the woman with the issue of blood and Jairus' daughter, like that whole situation where Jesus stopped and was focused on the women with the issue of blood. And when Jairus came to Jesus to ask for him to come see his daughter, he did not rush. He took his time. He got there when he got there. Like, it pointed out so many times that Jesus did not ever rush. He prioritized silence and solitude. That is one of the biggest things in here. He got away. He had his quiet time. He spent time with the Lord. He broke off away from people. How many days do we go by that we don't even do that? We don't have time to ourselves. We don't have time to just sit and be in the Lord's presence and just quiet. Like, it totally revamped my quiet time, because it even said quiet time without music in the background, without, anything going on, just absolute quiet. So you can just sit there and be still, hear God. Just, you start to think of things. You start to go over and reflect about things in the quiet. So it's like, it's so important to actually have quiet time with no noise, just you and God. And being up early in the morning is just so nice, because sometimes you could just look out the window and things will just come up to your mind. You can just close your eyes and sit and things will come to your heart. Like, life change. changing. It all seems so simple, but it's like, if we don't take the time to sit and think about in our lives how these things affect us, then we're not gonna realize that it could literally be so easy for us to change and just slow down just a little bit. So then it talked about Sabbath, and that is something that I talked about on my channel, about being intentional about Sabbath days and, you know, just stopping. Like, we just live in a non-stop world. It is important to stop and enjoy all the things that God has blessed us with, to be grateful and thankful to Him, and have time for worship and reading our word and doing it as a family, and just focusing on the things that are so important. I'm like so anti-phone right now because I just see how it can distract and divide us and cause us not to speak, not to be present, not to pay attention to people when they're talking. Like, that has just been something that has been at the forefront of something that I'm trying to work on, so that I'm not doing that, because I just want to be present. I just want to enjoy this life that we were blessed with. Then it talked about simplicity, so decluttering our lives, and not just with clothes, but including clothes too, but just decluttering it. Why do we feel like we need to buy everything, multiple things, like stuff that's not really necessary? If you didn't buy so much stuff, maybe your house wouldn't always need to be clean. Is everything in your house something that you need? Are there things that you can get rid of so that you can take you can take your time back? It talked about how time and freedom is what we want, but that's not what the world, you know, encourages. It encourages you to work, do this, do that, multitask. Like, you're always doing multiple things at once. You don't have time to just slow down because you got this tomorrow, you got this later. Like, no wonder the world is full of anxiety and everything else. Like, we need to slow down. And then the last part was just literally slowing down and practicing different ways to slow down. So one of the main things, like, this is the book that we did for my book club. I have that link down below if you want to join. It's very laid back, chill. We just chat and put in our thoughts and stuff into the app for our book club. So we read this book this month, and one of the things in this last chapter that I said I was going to do was the phone, like kind of turning my phone into a dumb phone. So I already have apps where I block social media, and I will go days without going on any social media. I'm trying to make it so that I'm not always reaching for my phone, or like, I just literally don't even care about my phone. Like, that's kind of the point that I'm trying to get to. But in the book, it actually said to try to turn the color off your phone. And I was looking up articles and stuff, and it was saying that having your phone in grayscale, like, it makes it less appealing. You don't give your brain the dopamine that it gets when it's seeing all these vibrant colors and it's fun, and, you know, that's what's drawing you in and keeping your attention. So I actually literally have my phone in black and white, and I've noticed it. I'm like, I don't want to scroll on this. I can't see that. Like, it's just black and white. So I'm on my phone to text someone back, to answer a call, and that's pretty much it. I got rid of apps on my phone that I don't need, that aren't necessary. If it's like entertainment or something, those can be on my iPad, or I'm just gonna go old fashioned and just type it in, type www. whatever website I'm trying to get to. I do not need an app for everything. You just don't. So another thing that it said is turning off like the notification for messages, so that I don't see when I have a text message. So in the morning, I'm not like, ooh, I have one, or like my mailbox, I see the number, I'm not tempted to click on it. I'm being intentional when I do click into it. Like, okay, I'm opening my phone, clicking into my messages to see if anyone texts. But it's not just like, oh, someone texted me, so let me go grab my phone. Oh, someone texted me again, let me go grab my phone. Oh, I got an email, let me go grab my phone. So it's like doing these little practices is what is going to hopefully help me break away from the use of my phone more than I would like to. Like, I am very into reading. I want to get into spending as much time as I can in my word, learning and growing and just enjoying life. Like, I'm so happy that it's about to be nice outside and springtime is on its way, because I just want to be more in touch with reality. Like, literally, they'd be like touch grass. Like, I just feel like our generation and our world today is just so different than it used to be, that people don't communicate, people don't spend time with each other as much. Like, everything is just a shortcut or the easy way, and that's just something that has been resonating with me and my soul, that I don't want to be like that. I don't want things to be like that. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the next book that we are going to read for my book club. So I just want to double check, because we did have our vote. There was one that we were leaning more towards, but it actually ends today, so I don't know if everyone got a chance to vote. They still have the rest of today to vote, so we'll see. Right now, what's winning is When Faith Meets Therapy. So this book is a book that I definitely wanted to get into. It says, seeking help isn't a sign of weakness, it is a sign of moving forward, which takes undeniable strength. In times of struggle, we often find ourselves rationalizing why we should feel better, especially as Christians. When others reiterate the idea that all you need is faith to overcome depression, anxiety, or relational pain, we feel even more alone. Everyone else seems to be doing fine, so how can we ever admit that we're not fine? This unique book is about the intersection of faith and therapy. Shows why seeking professional help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are serious about making healthy changes in your life, about growing emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. Written by worship leader, producer, and author Anthony Evans and by licensed psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser. When Faith Meets Therapy. It dispels the cultural myths and stigmas that surround professional therapy, helps you understand the problems and purposes of anger, empowers you to release relationships with toxic people and refocus your life, equips you to experience forgiveness by letting go, and provides practical steps you can take today as you pursue healing. In a warm conversational approach, Anthony and Stacy share from their own longtime client-counselor relationship and show that seeking help is often a sign of faith, and the help that you find is often an answer to prayer. Discover the freedom to move forward in this encouraging look at how God uses therapy to draw us closer to Him and make our heart stronger. So the theme for March is healing and relationships. So this was an option. And then I Want to Trust You But I Don't by Lisa Turkers was an option. So this might be a next book that we read or a book down the line that we read. But I just wanted it to be a book that really focused on, okay, we just went over the habits in our life. We just went over slowing down so that we have the time to do the things that we want to do and that we're purposed to do. Now that we're at a slower pace, let's start healing. Let's start pulling out things that need to be pulled out from our lives. Let's start changing things that need to be changed. Let's start realizing things about ourselves that we may need to strengthen. Let's realize our strengths. What are some things that we're holding on to? When we're so busy and rushing around, you're not really reflecting, you're not dealing with things. So when you have that moment to sit, be quiet, to make time for yourself and to make time for time with God, that's when we can start doing work. That's when we can start really prioritizing the work so that we can get to the purpose that God has for us, that we can become the person that He created us to be. So March is about healing and learning about relationships with ourselves, relationship with God, and then relationship with others. So I'm very excited for that. And then the last book that I'll be reading and like kind of listening to an audiobook just for myself personally is called Hard Is Not the Same Thing as Bad. It is this perspective shift that could completely change the way you mother by Abby Halberstadt. So this is just talking about finding hope amid your hardest moments. So this is a motherhood book. I have 2 kids in very different stages that require a lot of time. So some days are hard, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. So I'm very interested and I feel like this is a timely read for me. So that is something that I'll be reading in March. So that is all that I have for you guys. I am going to wake up my children now and start my day, but I just hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you're excited for March. In my videos to come, I'll do more about, February lessons and things that stuck out to me in February and things that I'm continuing to work on. And then all the things that we're going to do in March as far as Bible studies, growth, and just life, y'all, just life. So I'm very excited and I hope that everyone has a blessed rest of your day and that March is full of blessings, full of love, full of realizations and growth, and we can do it together. So if you are interested in joining the book club, I'll leave the link down below so you can read more about it and connect with us. I would love to connect with you guys. I would love to read with you guys. I like to read. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.